Humans pride themselves on being master builders, but across forests, deserts, and wetlands, birds have been perfecting architecture for millions of years, using only instinct and natural materials. They construct woven chambers, floating platforms, mud towers, and fortress-like megastructures designed to survive predators and extreme weather.
Oh, there's holes once you get up here.
Oh, it scared me.
There's holes.
Shot out of there.
Some nests regulate temperature, others house entire colonies, and a few grow so massive they last generations. From precision engineers like the Baya Weaver to giants like the bald eagle, these avian architects prove that nature has been designing masterpieces all along. We just rarely stop to notice them. Number 15, Baya Weavers. They say nature has no architects, but the Baya Weaver makes that claim impossible to defend. When the monsoon season arrives in South Asia, male Baya Weavers turn into precision builders, working alone with a level of discipline that rivals trained engineers. Each bird carefully chooses a high, thorny branch, usually suspended over water, far from snakes, rats, and anything else that might climb its way to the nest. Only then does construction begin, using long strips of grass or palm fiber, typically measuring between 20 and 60 centimeters. A single male weaves thousands of tight loops with his beak. More than 3,000 individual passes go into forming a hanging structure shaped like an elongated pouch. The nest begins small and compact, reaching what researchers call the helmet stage after about 8 days of non-stop work. But building the nest is only half the job. Once the basic structure is complete, the performance starts. The male sings, flutters his wings, and puts on a display, advertising his unfinished masterpiece. A female arrives to inspect. If she approves, he completes the narrow entrance tunnel, a final upgrade designed to block wind, rain, and predators. If she rejects it, the response is brutal and immediate. He dismantles the nest entirely and starts again. This cycle can repeat up to 20 times in a single breeding season. In some locations, dozens of nests hang together in colonies of 20 to 60, all angled away from the dominant monsoon winds. The result looks less like random bird activity and more like a carefully planned settlement of tiny storm-resistant shelters. Old myths once claimed Baya Weavers attached fireflies to their nests to light the interior at night. The truth is far more practical. Studies showed that males reinforce key points with clay or animal dung, increasing strength and durability. No glow, no legend, just smart design, and perhaps the most telling detail of all: nests built higher on thinner branches have significantly better survival rates. The birds don't just build beautifully, they build strategically. Number 14, Montezuma Oropendola nest. And just when it seems bird architecture can't get any more theatrical, the Montezuma Oropendola enters the scene, turning rainforest trees across Central America into something that feels more like a hanging opera house than a nesting site. Each female Montezuma Oropendola builds her nest alone, weaving it strand by strand from vines and tough plant fibers. She suspends the finished structure from thin, high branches where most predators simply can't reach. The result is a long, dangling pouch that can hang just a couple of feet from the branch, or stretch down an astonishing 6 feet in length. The shape isn't decorative. It functions like a windproof cradle, with a deep inner chamber that shields eggs from heavy rain, heat, and climbing intruders. Colonies can vary wildly in size. In one tree, you might count 30 of these hanging nests. In another, more than 100. But despite the crowded skyline, life inside each nest is solitary. The female typically lays 2 dark, speckled eggs, though in most cases only one chick survives. It's a stark reminder that while nature can be elegant, it is rarely gentle. This species is also wrapped in legend. Local stories claim Oropendolas deliberately build near hornet nests for protection. Science backs that up, at least in part. Aggressive wasps drive away cowbirds and parasites, while the presence of the birds helps discourage animals that threaten the hornets. It's not coincidence, it's cooperation, quietly playing out above the forest floor. While the females focus on construction and survival, the males take on a very different role. They perform, hanging upside down beneath the branches. They flare their bright yellow tails and release bubbling calls at a steady rhythm, creating a display so precise it was once described by biologists as timed choreography. Every movement, every sound is aimed at one goal: winning the attention of a female directly beneath the nest she built herself. Number 13. Deep in the Kalahari Desert, sociable weaver builds on a scale that feels almost unreal. These birds don't place sticks randomly. They stack and interlock them with purpose, as if drafting blueprints using nothing but their beaks. And they are not building for a single season. They are building for generations yet to come. These nests are enormous. Some stretch more than 10 feet across and can weigh close to a ton. One structure can house anywhere from 10 birds to more than 500, with dozens, sometimes over 100, separate chambers hidden inside. From the outside, it looks like a massive pile of dry grass balanced on a tree or even a telephone pole. From the inside, it's a living structure, alive with movement, sound, and heat. The internal design is where the real genius shows. Narrow tunnels, often up to 10 inches long, lead into insulated chambers that buffer the desert's extremes. During the day when temperatures soar, the interior stays cool. At night, when the desert drops toward freezing, the chambers retain warmth. Measurements taken by researchers show that the internal temperature remains remarkably stable, hovering between 21 and 24 degrees Celsius, even when the outside environment becomes hostile. And these nests aren't short-lived shelters. Some have remained in use for over a century. They are repaired, expanded, and reinforced year after year, passed down like inherited property. Sociable weavers aren't the only ones who benefit either. Pygmy falcons, finches, vultures, tree skinks, and other animals move in, taking advantage of the protection these structures offer. Even snakes navigate the tunnels in search of eggs, only to encounter dense walls of sharpened sticks designed to slow or stop them. Local mythology adds another layer. In parts of the Kalahari, people say these nests glow with life, like sacred structures rising from the desert. And in a sense, they do. They represent cooperation turned into architecture, survival made permanent. But if you think building with sticks is impressive, the next bird takes construction to an entirely different level, using nothing but its own saliva. Number 12, cave swiftlets. The cave swiftlet takes minimalism to an extreme. This is a bird so committed to construction that it builds using its own body, turning saliva into cement. These birds live deep inside the pitch-black caves of Southeast Asia and nearby islands, environments where traditional nesting materials don't exist. No grass, no twigs, no leaves, just sheer rock walls and total darkness. Their solution is extraordinary. They produce a thick, sticky saliva capable of hardening into a strong adhesive, and they use it as the sole building material for their nests. Construction begins high on cave ceilings, far from ground predators. Over the course of roughly 35 days, a swiftlet layers strand after strand of saliva, slowly shaping a small cup about 8 centimeters wide. The finished nest weighs only around 6 grams, yet it's strong enough to support 2 eggs and the weight of both adult birds. Lightweight, durable, and perfectly adapted, pure biological engineering. In massive cave systems, the scale becomes overwhelming. Thousands of these nests cling to stone walls, clustered so closely they resemble white petals frozen in mid-bloom. One of the most famous sites, the Gamantong Caves in Borneo, has hosted these formations for centuries. That longevity caught human attention early. As far back as the 14th century, people began harvesting swiftlet nests for bird's nest soup, a dish believed to promote youth, strength, and vitality. Some legends claim that red-colored nests were especially powerful. Science tells a less mystical story. The red hue comes from chemical reactions with cave minerals and guano, not hidden magic. Still, the fascination wasn't entirely misplaced. Swiftlet saliva contains unique glycoproteins and minerals, forming a natural bioadhesive that modern researchers continue to study for potential applications. Unfortunately, demand pushed the species to the brink. In places like the Andaman Islands, overharvesting caused dramatic population declines. Recovery only began when caves were protected. Between 2000 and 2008, safeguarded sites saw swiftlet numbers rise by nearly 40%, a clear reminder of what happens when exploitation gives way to restraint. And from the darkness of caves, we now move to an entirely different approach, where architecture isn't suspended above ground, but built directly into it. Number 11, the Ovenbird. The Ovenbird doesn't build in the air on cliffs or deep inside caves. It builds directly into the earth, quietly, discreetly, and with remarkable precision. Despite living at ground level, this small bird creates a structure that rivals far larger nests in strategy, efficiency, and design. In the dense forests of North America, the female ovenbird begins by clearing a small patch of leaf litter. From there, she weaves together grass, fine twigs, animal hair, and thin strips of bark, shaping them into a rounded, dome-like shelter. The finished nest resembles a tiny clay oven, which is exactly how the bird got its name. Construction takes about 5 days, producing a structure roughly 13 centimeters tall and 23 centimeters wide. Inside sits a snug inner cup, just large enough to cradle her speckled eggs. What truly sets this nest apart is its entrance. Instead of opening from the top, it's hidden on the side, most often angled downhill. This positioning, combined with near-perfect camouflage among fallen leaves, makes the nest extremely difficult for predators like snakes and chipmunks to detect from above. And if a threat does get too close, the mother employs one of nature's most convincing tricks, feigning injury to draw danger away from the nest. The female typically lays 3 to 6 eggs, most often 4 or 5. After an incubation period of about 11 to 14 days, the chicks hatch. They leave the nest in a little over a week, but remain nearby, dependent on their parents, for nearly a month. This nest is more than shelter. It's a form of natural craftsmanship. Each one is shaped slightly differently, molded by terrain, materials, and instinct. No two are exactly alike. Even poets took notice. In 1916, Robert Frost wrote about the Ovenbird's song and quiet presence. And in some rural communities, people believe destroying one of these nests brings drought, treating them instead as symbols of good fortune, sometimes even building their own homes nearby. But from the forest floor, we now rise back into the air, where birds stop building alone, and architecture becomes a shared effort, shaped from mud and numbers rather than secrecy. Number 10. Enter the cliff swallow, one of nature's most impressive communal builders. This bird never works alone. Instead, it turns construction into a neighborhood-wide operation. Each nest begins with mud, hundreds, sometimes more than 1,000. Small pellets are gathered from stream edges and puddles, one trip at a time. Carried in the beak, these pellets are shaped into an inverted gourd, a compact clay chamber with a long, narrow entrance tunnel. The finished structure measures roughly 8 inches across and 4 inches tall, with thick walls that help block heat, rain, and unwanted visitors. But the real achievement isn't a single nest. Its scale, under cliffs, bridges, and concrete overhangs, cliff swallows build entire cities. Nests are packed tightly together, sometimes numbering in the hundreds, and in extreme cases reaching into the thousands. Every surface becomes usable space. Males and females work side by side, repairing damage, reinforcing weak points, and aggressively defending their section of the colony like a dedicated 2-bird construction team. Inside the nest, the chamber is softened with feathers and grass. The female usually lays 3 to 4 eggs, though the number can range from 1 to 6. Both parents share feeding duties, and after about 3 weeks, the chicks are ready to leave. Not every bird follows the rules, though. Some females quietly lay eggs in neighboring nests, leaving others to raise their offspring, a tactic known as brood parasitism. For years, people assumed these mud nests were fragile, easily destroyed by rain. In reality, the design is anything but sloppy. The weight is evenly distributed, the balance precise. Studies have shown that the center of gravity is so well calculated that the nest holds firm like a miniature fortress attached to stone. It's natural engineering that looks suspiciously like 3D printing, layer by layer, pellet by pellet. And from these crowded mud cities, we now move into wetland territory, where far larger birds raise their homes above the water itself. Number 9. Standing more than 3 feet tall, the wood stork builds nests that are less like bird homes and more like elevated platforms. High above swamp water, these birds construct wide, flat structures that can span up to 5 feet across, positioned carefully in tall trees where ground predators can't reach. Both parents work with urgency. Sticks and leafy branches are gathered rapidly, and in as little as 2 to 3 days, the main structure is complete. Fresh green leaves are added on top, and over time, the bird's own droppings act as a natural sealant, binding everything together and adding strength. The nests are rarely isolated. Instead, they form dense colonies known as rookeries, where dozens of platforms sit clustered together above 3 to 5 feet of standing water, just deep enough to discourage raccoons and other climbers. Each breeding pair lays between 2 and 5 eggs. After about 30 days, the chicks hatch, weighing barely 57 grams. From that fragile start, they grow rapidly, fed and protected constantly for nearly 2 months until they are strong enough to fend for themselves. For centuries, folklore confused the wood stork with its European relative, the white stork, crediting both with delivering human babies. Reality is far less whimsical. Wood storks deliver fish, captured by snapping their bills shut with lightning speed, faster than the human eye can follow. Number 8. Pendulin tit. Only a few inches long, The pendulin tit produces one of the most elaborate nests ever woven by a bird. Suspended from tree branches, its nest has been compared to a miniature trapdoor mansion, swaying gently in the open air. Using soft plant fibers, wool, and strands of spider silk, the male constructs a pear-shaped hanging pouch. From the outside, it looks delicate. Inside, it's brilliantly deceptive. Many nests include a false entrance that leads nowhere, while the real opening is hidden behind a flexible flap of spider webbing. The design isn't just clever, it's multifunctional, providing insulation, camouflage, and protection all at once. Some species take the deception even further, building two separate chambers, one decoy, one real. The finished nest stands about 20 centimeters tall and can hold up to 9 eggs. Research shows that thicker, denser nests retain heat more effectively, and females consistently favor males who produce the most robust designs. Construction usually takes around a week. Once the breeding season ends, the nest is abandoned and never reused, though birds often return to the same location year after year. Humans were so impressed by these nests that they once collected them for use as slippers, bags, and small pouches. But next, we move from fine fibers and trickery to bold color and raw earth, where architecture rises straight from the mud. Number 7, Flamingo. When it comes to building with mud, no bird comes close to the flamingo. These elegant birds don't simply stand in shallow water, they actively reshape it. Working as a pair, flamingos use their bills and feet to scoop, press, and sculpt wet mud into a tall, cone-shaped mound. The finished nest rises roughly 45 centimeters high and spreads just as wide at the base, topped with a shallow bowl that holds a single, oversized egg. That height is not accidental. By elevating the egg, the nest protects it from sudden flooding while also helping regulate temperature. As moisture slowly evaporates from the mud's surface, it creates a cooling effect, nature's version of air conditioning. In massive breeding groups known as flamboyances, these nests are built close together, sometimes less than a meter apart, forming dense grids of mud towers stretching across shallow lakes. After the chick hatches, it remains on the nest for about a week before moving into a creche, a communal nursery where young flamingos gather while both parents take turns delivering food. That food includes a rich crop milk packed with fats and proteins, essential for rapid growth. There's a persistent myth that flamingos steal nests or reinforce them with sticks. Neither is true. Their nests are made entirely of mud, shaped patiently and rebuilt when damaged. And if you think shaping mud is impressive, the next bird doesn't just build, it excavates. Number 6, woodpeckers. The woodpecker is less an architect and more a demolition expert with purpose. Armed with a powerful bill and a shock-absorbing skull, it drills straight into tree trunks to carve out nesting cavities with surgical precision. The entrance hole is kept small, just a few centimeters wide, leading into a hollow chamber that can extend up to 24 centimeters deep. Tree choice is critical. Woodpeckers target trunks with decayed heartwood that's soft enough to excavate, while the outer bark remains strong and protective. Depending on the species, carving a single nest can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to several years. The red cockaded woodpecker goes even further, chiseling into living pine trees across multiple seasons. Inside the cavity, there's no padding brought from outside. The bird lays 3 to 6 glossy white eggs directly on a bed of wood chips, the byproduct of its own excavation. Despite their reputation, woodpeckers don't destroy forests. They create opportunity. Once abandoned, these cavities become homes for countless other species: owls, bats, small mammals, insects, and birds that can't carve their own shelters. Ecologists call this network of shared spaces the nest web, and woodpeckers sit at its center as the primary engineers. Their anatomy has even inspired human technology, influencing designs in protective gear and shock absorption. And from carved wood to woven fibers, the next bird on our list builds not just to survive, but to impress. Number 5, southern masked weaver. The southern masked weaver doesn't build simply to survive, it builds to be judged. During the breeding season, which runs roughly from September to January, the male becomes a relentless craftsman. One after another, he weaves nest after nest, sometimes more than 20 in a single season, each one taking close to 5 days to complete. Every project begins the same way, with a single strand of grass carefully knotted to a solid branch. From that first anchor point, an intricate structure takes shape. The finished nest forms a hanging oval dome, usually 20 to 25 centimeters wide, woven from reeds, palm leaves, or long blades of grass. The entrance is always positioned at the bottom, sometimes extended into a short tunnel that makes access difficult for snakes, monkeys, and other predators. The nest sways with the wind, but its tight weave keeps it intact. Water-resistant, durable, and surprisingly tough. Once construction is complete, the display begins. The male flutters, sings, and circles his creation, advertising both the nest and his skill. A female inspects closely. If she approves, she moves in and finishes the interior with feathers and soft grass. If she doesn't, the verdict is harsh. The male tears the nest apart and starts again. Egg color plays a role too. Females can recognize their own eggs, helping them detect intruders like the Diederik cuckoo. Long-term studies have also shown that males refine their technique with experience, tightening their weaving patterns and wasting fewer strands over time. In the world of the southern masked weaver, craftsmanship improves with practice. But if this nest is all about precision and finesse, the next builder takes a very different approach, one focused on sheer size and strength. Number 4. The Hammerkop doesn't construct a nest. It constructs a fortress using thousands of materials: twigs, reeds, grass, mud, and occasionally whatever human debris happens to be nearby. A pair of Hammerkops builds a massive, dome-shaped structure that can reach up to 2 meters in height and width. These nests can weigh anywhere from 25 to 50 kilograms, making them some of the largest bird-built structures in the world. Construction begins with a wide, flat platform. Walls rise next, followed by a thick roof. The final touch is a narrow entrance tunnel, roughly 13 centimeters wide, leading into a hidden inner chamber lined with mud and measuring about half a meter across. From start to finish, the build takes around 6 weeks, with peak periods seeing the birds make as many as 60 supply trips per hour. The result is more than a nesting site, it's a permanent landmark. These structures are so strong that, in theory, a grown human could sit on one without collapsing it. And Hammerkops aren't the only residents. Once abandoned or even while still occupied, the nests attract owls, kestrels, ducks, snakes, squirrels, and other animals. This is why biologists often refer to the Hammerkop as an ecosystem engineer. Local belief has helped preserve these nests for generations. In parts of East Africa, disturbing a Hammerkop nest is said to bring misfortune, illness, lightning, or worse. Superstition or not, the effect is real. These massive nests are rarely touched, standing intact for years, protected by both strength and story. Number 3. The European bee-eater. With colors as striking as their construction methods, European bee-eaters are masters of underground design. Instead of collecting twigs or weaving fibers, these birds dig. Using their bills and feet, they carve long tunnels straight into vertical cliffs, sandy riverbanks, and soft loess walls. Some of these tunnels reach nearly a full meter in length, ending in a rounded chamber hidden safely beyond the reach of predators. Building one tunnel is no small task. A single pair can spend close to 20 days excavating their nest, flinging soil backward with relentless precision. When the breeding season peaks in early summer, entire landscapes transform. Hundreds, sometimes thousands, of nest entrances appear along the same stretch of cliff. In one long-term study spanning 3 decades, scientists recorded more than 1,500 nests in a single colony, with nearly 90% carved into softer sandy soil. Inside the chamber, the female lays between 5 and 8 glossy white eggs. Both parents share incubation and feeding duties, operating as a coordinated team. In some cases, the workload is eased by helpers, older siblings or relatives that return to assist with feeding and defense, a rare cooperative behavior among birds. Bee-eaters have long suffered from a bad reputation. For years, rumors claim they raided honeybee hives and harmed beekeepers. Research tells a different story. These birds mainly prey on wild bees, wasps, and even dangerous species like hornets, including invasive varieties documented in recent years. From deep tunnels carved into earth, we now move to a design that floats, where architecture adapts not to land, but to water itself. Number 2, the great crested grebe. The great crested grebe is an architect of motion. Rather than anchoring its nest to solid ground, this bird builds directly on the water's surface. Using reeds, twigs, and aquatic plants, grebes construct floating platforms that drift gently on lakes and ponds. These nests are anchored to submerged vegetation, allowing them to rise and fall with changing water levels while remaining securely in place. The result is a structure that moves with the environment instead of resisting it. Construction can be remarkably fast. Under ideal conditions, a nest may take only a few hours to assemble, with both parents working side by side. The platform supports 3 to 4 eggs, which begin chalky white but gradually darken as they absorb moisture and plant stains from the nest. Incubation lasts between 27 and 29 days, with parents alternating duties in calm, predictable shifts. When the chicks hatch, they're instantly recognizable, striped, fuzzy, and nicknamed humbugs. Though capable swimmers, they spend their first days riding on their parents' backs, tucked between feathers for warmth and protection. It's a moving cradle, part transport, part shelter, part bonding ritual. One long-standing myth claimed grebes carried their eggs to shore. In reality, they never leave the water during nesting. Their entire breeding strategy is built around flotation. In the 19th century, fashion nearly erased them. Their decorative head plumes became so desirable that hunting drove populations to the edge of collapse. In the UK, only 42 nesting pairs remained at the lowest point. Conservation efforts reversed that decline, and today the grebe once again glides across open water with its nest and its future afloat. And now, from floating platforms, we rise to the highest tier of avian construction. Number 1, bald eagles. If nature issued blueprints for dominance, the bald eagle would sign them. These powerful raptors build nests that are less like shelters and more like enduring monuments. An eagle nest begins large, often around 6 feet wide and 4 feet deep, but it never stays that size. Year after year, the same pair returns, adding layer upon layer of sticks, grass, moss, and sometimes even kelp. Over decades, the structure grows outward and downward, eventually reaching extraordinary proportions. Some nests have measured up to 9 feet across, more than 20 feet deep, and weighed close to 3 tons. One historic nest in Florida still holds the record after decades of continuous expansion. Location is critical. Eagles choose massive trees, often between 60 and 200 feet tall, positioned near rivers or lakes rich in fish. The nest itself forms a deep bowl, with thick walls and a soft interior that cradles eggs securely, shaped almost like an upside-down wine glass. Research tracking eagle populations over multiple decades shows that nesting decisions are deliberate. Branch strength, visibility, and proximity to water all play a role. Some pairs remain loyal to the same nest site for more than 50 years, reinforcing and reusing it across generations. There's an old claim that Benjamin Franklin criticized the bald eagle as lazy or unworthy. But standing beneath one of these colossal nests, that idea quickly collapses. Few structures in the natural world demonstrate such scale, patience, and long-term commitment. So after seeing these architects at work, tunnels carved into cliffs, platforms floating on water, and nests heavier than cars, what stands out most? The deception, the cooperation, the sheer size. Nature has been building masterpieces all along. We just forgot to look.